welcome back to our second to last episode of 2022 of the She Shoots podcast, Women Empowering Women in the Shooting Community, episode 11, Small But Mighty. My name is Regina Ruiz Ordóñez, and I'm from the Canadian University Shooting Federation. And as always, joining me today are Deneen Tomlin and Casey Gavinchuk from Lady Guns, and Kelly Melanson from Maple Seed Project, Slamfire Radio, and CCFI Women's Program. As always, again, I would like to start by thanking our sponsors, Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, positively shaping the future of the outdoors. Every cent donated by rounding up at checkout goes towards helping Canadian organizations just like ours. Savage Arms, home to the Stevens single-shot rifles and shotguns. Beretta, family-owned and operated since 1526. And Vortex, the best in optics. If you have any questions or comments throughout the show, make sure to leave them in the chat box below. Doing so will automatically enter you in the draw for today's giveaways. Today we have a swag bag from MDT, and am I allowed to reveal the secret?
Sure.
Yeah, we have a
I'd say so.
cactus from Grape Birch. There's the one thing is that you do have to have a pal for you to win it, but we'll get to the details later towards the end of the show.
Perfect.
So that's all for me. So Deneen and Kelly, can you please introduce our guests today?
Awesome.
Super excited to introduce these beautiful women that we have. Kelly, you have brought us the most beautiful guests tonight. They are junior shooters, and I'm so excited to be hosting them because I wish I was this awesome when I was their age, right? So we've got Allison Zane. I get the opportunity to introduce you first, Allison, and bear with me, everybody who's watching, because of course I have to read this introduction. Allison's a 17-year-old precision rifle competitor who hails from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 7 years of experience shooting, born into a law enforcement family. Allison and her sister learned the importance of firearm safety early on in life, and she learned the fundamentals of shooting with a .22 LR rifle, as most of us did, and took to shooting right away. Good for you. At age 11, Allison signed up for the Winchester National Rifle Association Marksmanship Qualification Program at her local club and began learning positional shooting. And I know that Project Maple Seed finds that very important, that positional shooting stuff. So during 2019, Allison's first season as a precision rifle rimfire competitor, she qualified to shoot the 2019 NRL 22 Nationals in Las Vegas. And at age 13, she earned the top junior award and claimed third place overall. In 2020, she finished the season in PRS Pro Series, taking first place in ladies, junior, and amateur categories, and claimed first place open in the PRS Northwest Regional Series. At 13, I don't even want to know what I was doing at 13. PRS competitors also voted her Rookie of the Year for 2020. Some of her most notable finishes include winning 4 national-level PRS Pro Series matches since 2020 and finishing 8th in Open for the PRS Pro Series in 2021. There's more to your introduction, but Allison, I think we're going to talk about that as we go along. So should I jump into Miss Jess Tischler? Should I do that, Kelly?
Sure, if you want to, or Allison, do you want to say hi to everybody? Just say,
hey, why not?
Yeah.
I'm Allison. Yeah. I'm really happy to be on, and thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here. And you come with such great credentials. Like, wow. And again, you're only 17. I say only 17, but yeah. So,
Kelly, you say that because that was a long, long time ago.
I know. I was thinking about that. Oh, God. You said, what was I doing at 13? I don't remember that far back.
No.
So, why don't we actually introduce Jess as well?
All right, let's do that. Jess, welcome to the show. Jess Tischler is 14 years old and from Southwestern Ontario. She discovered a love for shooting from a very young age. Her dad exposed her to hunting and target shooting from as early as 2 years old when he bought her first gun, a single shot cricket. Love it. That's what I bought my son too, Jeff. Many years later, in May of 2018, she had her first go at Maple Seed Clinic. And she thinks that it's safe to say that the difference from then to now is night and day. So being so young, it helped to have vital fundamentals like rifleman's cadence, how to properly use and support yourself with a sling, and general knowledge and safety. You're like the spokesperson for Project Maple Seed.
Yes, actually now.
Right? A year later, in April of 2019, Jess began her PRS journey, and it began with the Outlaw Rimfire Precision Series that her dad hosted at Warren Field. Jess won first in production, which was one of the factors that gave her the motivation to continue with the PRS series and others like it. From there, she improved her skills, and in September of 2019, attended her first Canadian Rimfire Precision Series season finale match. In those few months of getting the hang of shooting, and with the previous background she knew she had the knack for the sport and that she would be good at it, so she stuck with it. And now, nearing the end of 2022 season, she's partaken in many different series and won some cool medals and trophies. Welcome, Jess. Welcome, Allison. Jess, what do you got to say? That's a pretty awesome intro. You're more amazing than Kelly and I put together. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think they both are.
Right?
So, Jess, it's you mentioned in the biography, there has been such a growth with you, and it's so great to see how far you've come in shooting just in the 4 short years since I saw you on the firing line for your first Maple Seed, though. So the other common thing that you both have in your bios is that you were introduced through your fathers as well. So why don't we get into that? Why don't you actually tell us a little bit about specifically that background? So Allison, you talked about your father. Your father introduced you, got you your first 22. And so give us a little bit more information about that. Why did you want to get into shooting?
Yeah, so when I was like 8, it was kind of like a little bit of like both my parents, because like they were law enforcement, and it was more like they just wanted me to go and like have fun and at least like learn how to handle a rifle, because they always thought that was important for me and also my sister.
Okay.
And then when I was like 10, I did start shooting the NRA qualification 22 program.
Yep.
That at the local club my dad used to take me to, I found out about. So I kind of asked him to sign me up, and we both kind of got involved. He kind of got involved more as like a coach, because he, as well as being a police officer, he's also a firearms instructor.
Okay.
So through that, I kind of learned a lot of like the fundamentals and things like that. And when I was around like 11, my dad was also shooting a lot of the long range stuff, like the long range, like prone matches, and he was getting involved into things like that and PRS and the rimfire stuff. So he kind of would take me with him, and it would kind of be like a friendly competition thing between the two of us. And I just kind of got hooked from there, and it's kind of just taken off from there with just shooting from a sling to the shooting pro matches to shooting rimfire and then to PRS now.
Yeah, you've grown exponentially since then. Yeah. Jess, I think that actually, again, that comparison as well. Allison's talking about competing with her father, and I know that you do as well. I know that there's something about a dress on the line or something like that. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So basically, my dad got me into shooting also when I was like really little. Like a lot of like hunting mainly. Like he would take me out and I'd like go like mainly like deer hunting, turkey hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would go out hunting with him. And then in like I said in like the bio, in 2019 I started the PRS. And then I don't know. I kind of had like a knack for it from like the beginning. I don't know. I really liked it. So then like later, I think it was like 2021, I made this deal with my dad that if I were to beat him, that he'd wear a dress. But I did. But he doesn't like hold up to his end of his deal very well.
No, he hasn't as of yet.
So maybe some she shoots public shaming. Maybe it'll help. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your dad actually is a match director, so he hosts matches regularly at where you live. So it's something that you can practice regularly with him. But you've actually, I think that's safe to say that you are able to outshoot him, and I am looking forward to seeing him in a dress. I don't know. I don't think that he's looking forward to it, but I think that one has to be put on. So yeah. But it's good to see the comparisons between the both of you. I don't think they're actually comparisons. I think they're similarities. So And it's great to see that you both been growing up in the sport itself, and were introduced to it through a family as well. So that's fantastic.
I'd like to applaud dads that bring their daughters into the shooting sports. Mine did as well, and I think that that's a fabulous way to get brought in. So big applause to your dads. Well done.
And moms too. Moms.
Well, of course, absolutely. But we were talking about dads, so I wanted to give dads the shout out. So
what about that? What makes it so great to actually be shooting with your dads? Allison, do you enjoy it?
I love shooting with my dad. I mean, it's always been a really big competitive thing between the two of us. Like, we're both very competitive people, and that's kind of was always the goal when I was little. I'm like, I'm gonna beat you one day. Like, it's gonna suck one day, and I'm gonna beat you. And it's just, and I've just kind of had this really this bond with my dad, I think, through the shooting, because I mean, I've been kind of traveling the country the past 4 years, and he comes to every match with me. Even like my mom, you know, they come to every match with me. They're there. They're supporting me. My dad, he's helping me out with whatever I need help with when I get busy with school. And it's just been an amazing experience to have with them.
Fantastic. What about you, Jess? What's so great about shooting with your dad?
Yeah, well, like, he's like always been like my like number one fan. Like, when, I don't know, like the first time I beat him, he was like a little bit embarrassed, but like also like at the same time, that's like his like little proud dad moment. And yeah, it's been really great because he's been like he really helped when like just like learning, and like he always like challenges me and stuff to like be more independent with it, and like but also like you
guys, I can hear the pride in both of you. That's fantastic. I love it. It's fantastic.
Denise, do you want to go ahead? Sorry,
I was just gonna say, and so is that like the basic of how you guys got into shooting in the beginning, was with your dads and your families, and is that kind of where it all started, and then you've been doing it all along, and so what made rifles the thing for you?
Like, what do you mean by like rifles? Just like,
well, I mean, we got pistols, we got shotguns, and we got rifles. So you ladies shoot rifles. So why is that your thing?
I'm gonna be honest, I never really shot anything but rifles. I'm not the best pistol shooter. I can't hit the broadside of a bar with a pistol.
Okay.
I've always just been around rifles, and I haven't really had a lot of experience in anything else, but it's just,
you put a lot of your time into the rifle piece of it, and you're crafting it.
Yeah, this wasn't about other sports, but it was more, my question was more about why rifles. So if that was what you were introduced to and that's what you fell in love with, good for you. That's fantastic, right?
So 22 LR is what you started out with, correct? And you just fell in love with that. You were able to actually, I think, Joss, you mentioned it, that you were able to excel at it. You knew you did well with it. So is that the same thing for you?
Yeah, I like hearing like the steel. I like I don't know. I find like a really like thrill of it. Like, you know, like the ting when like I hit it. I don't know. I really liked it. It was just like my little outlet for like my, I don't know, adrenaline, I guess. I don't know. It's fun when you're like on the clock and you're like really pressured. I don't know. I just really liked it.
Right on. So you both shoot PRS, right?
Yeah.
So for those people that are watching or could be watching this on our YouTube channel, can you explain a little bit about what PRS is and why it's so cool?
Yeah. Do you want who just
go ahead, Allison? Yeah.
So PRS basically is you shoot, well, I know for like the center fire side of it, there's like center fire and there's rimfire. For the center fire side, you're shooting targets from about 300 yards to like 1,300 yards from like a series like barricades and stuff under a pretty, I don't know, like a time constraint basically. So for like a 1 day match, you have like 10 stages. For a 2 day match, it's 20 stages over 2 days. And basically you're just going through the course of fire that they have set for you, and you're shooting anything from like a 6 Creedmoor to like a 6 BR. There's like a TAC division where you shoot like 223 or like a 308. Gas gun division. and it's, like I said, basically all shooting from like barricades under that time constraint. And then I don't know if Josh want to explain the rimfire side of it.
Yeah. So like for rimfire, it's definitely like a lot like closer range. It like, so I do like a lot of like different series, like the Outlaw, like what I started in, it only goes out to 100. So it's like, it's a really good like beginner's way to like get into the sport. And like that way, like you don't like, get like discouraged, like you don't hit. Cause like I don't like the harder stuff is like further out. So it's a lot harder than like the close stuff. It's like 50 yards, like 3 inches. Like it's nice and big. It gives you like the chance to like build confidence to go like further.
Yeah.
And like Allison said, is under like a time constraint. We have 2 minutes per stage, and in NRS I think it's 1:45. So it's it like the adrenaline is it's great. And then like a lot of like positional. You're switching like positions quite a bit, like going from like one stage in cases like for like one stage you have like a cactus, and then you go from like 1 point, and then say to like two shots, then move, 2 shots, move. So it's a lot of like moving, so you don't like have like a lot of time.
Yeah.
Sounds very exciting. It sounds really dynamic, and it sounds like you really have to reposition yourself and understand your setup. So I think that's the next question, right? Is what is your shooting setup? How do you guys set yourself up, and what are you running right now?
So for me, for my centerfire rifle, I shoot a 6 Creedmoor, and it is a Defiance machine rocket action. It has a Hawk Hill marksman contour barrel on it. I shoot a Vortex Gen 3.
Yep.
The Razor. And then my chassis is an MDT ACC chassis.
It's sweet.
For my trigger, I shoot a Huber 2-stage trigger.
Okay.
And then for like ammo and things like that, I use the Pua brass, and I shoot 109s, burger bullets.
Thank you, Allison. What about you, Jess?
So I kind of like rotate through like 3 guns. So I have 2 from Grey Birch, and like one. So I have the Grey Birch LDR with the carbon fiber barrel, which is like this is the semi-auto, and and the second one is the Grey Birch with like the chassis, and but it has like the insides of like a CZ 457, with a Grey Birch carbon fiber barrel. And then the third one is a CZ 419 Elite, with a Manor stock and then Proof Research carbon fiber barrel. And then for optics, so my favorite one right now is the US Optics, the TS20.
Yep.
It's great. I love it. It has like a lit up reticle. I love it. It's great. And then I have a Minox LR, and then 5-25.
Awesome. Yeah. And you can shoot those really well. That's fantastic. So, both your centerfire and rimfire. Do you also have a trainer as well, Allison, as well, in in rimfire?
Yeah, so like I have my rimfire rifle, which is like it's a Voodoo V22, and then it's the same like ACC, and I just shoot a Vortex AMG scope on that instead, and then like for like a trainer, I have a 223, which is basically the exact same thing as my centerfire rifle. It's just
it's 223. It's cheaper to shoot, obviously, than the 6.5 Creedmoor. So, which is it's great for training, and you can actually easily go upgrade when you go to your matches and that as well. So, let's talk about where you're from. So, Jess, where are you from? Like, do you have a home club? I know kind of what your setup is, but do you belong to a club, or is it Warren Fields that you're typically going out and shooting at?
Yeah, I think it's just Warren Field. Like I'm pretty sure my dad was like part of like Cumberland, but then we kind of like just kind of shifted more towards Warren Field as we got more into it.
Okay. Yeah, well, he's a match director, and he's able to have matches every other week if he's able to as well. So, what about you, Allison? Where are you located?
So I usually shoot like a lot of like my regional matches at at a range called MKM Precision. That's in Kennerdale, Pennsylvania. It's like an hour and a half. That's the closest range that I have that I can have like real distance. I have a couple like local ranges like I sight in at like 100 yards at, but nothing that the closest range I have is in Camp Precision.
Okay. What about to adjust? Rimfire, it's a little different, so you can have closer distances, but you're still hitting out to 300. Where you've been shooting where you can actually get out to that distance?
Well, like you can like shoot like across the field. So like really at Warren Field, I'm pretty sure my dad can go to like 500 or 600 yards.
Okay.
So it's like it's good. Like it's pretty versatile for like distance wise. So it's
Okay.
good.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
So can we talk about practice and routines that you might go through for training to get yourselves ready for these matches? What are you ladies up to on that side of things when you're out practicing and training?
Yeah. So for me, I do a lot of dry fire just because, like I said, my closest range isn't exactly the closest between me having things like school and stuff like that during the weekday. But so mostly I dry fire, and I dry fire every other night for like 15, 25 minutes, just in my garage on the indoor dry firing system. And I just run like standard stages. I run 10-second drills so I can make sure my first shot's off within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then once like a match week, I usually practice every single night dry firing. And then occasionally, depending on how much time I have that week, I'll get to the range and shoot my 223 that I use like my trainer, just because it's cheap and it's easy to shoot and it's good practice with wind and things like that.
Thanks, Allison. What about you, Jess? What do you do to practice and train and get ready for matches?
To get ready for matches, it's like a lot. It's just like verifying like the dope mainly. And like like sometimes I practice stages and like just like get like really comfortable with like moving the gun and like positioning like in like quickly, because that's like speed is definitely your best friend in like the rimfire. And yeah, I definitely don't get out as often as I should, but I get like I don't know, we try to get out for twice a month. I don't know, it's like especially like the wintertime, it's hard. Summer, like yeah, it's definitely harder because my dad does not like the cold.
This is the second time you threw him under the bus. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's definitely harder in the wintertime, but like in the summer we're out pretty frequently because my sister also likes to do it for fun, so we like go out and like shoot steel for fun sometimes and to like practice. So yeah.
What about the course of fire? Typically, they'll post course of fires. Do you actually practice those before you get go to the match, or?
A bit of them. Like I review the course of fire with my dad. Like usually like a little bit before. Like at least we try to, and like we like go through like the stages that are like tricky because some of them are definitely like mind game ones. They're hard. Like the order wise. So then we just like we try and shoot those ones or like shoot like the harder ones, just so like familiarize with it.
Yeah. What about you, Allison? Are you familiar with the course of fire prior to you attending a match, or?
Usually not. A lot of the center fire matches and the like even like our regional ones. Usually we get them like the regional ones we get them the morning of. The center fire ones we'll get them like the kind of the day before, like the sight-in day. But I kind of tend to, when I get to like the stage, read it over and things like that because I need the prop to kind of visualize what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Do you watch other shooters as well? See what they do? So it's a question. Some people will come prepared and they'll actually go through the stage and they'll figure out what they want to do. And other people will actually watch shooters that go before them and then change their minds. Do you typically do that, or do you actually stick with your plan?
Usually, so I stick with my plan, most because a couple times I run into things where I change my mind because I saw someone else do it, and it doesn't end up working out in my favor.
No, it doesn't.
So I always tend to kind of keep what my game plan is, especially because like a lot of the shooters that I'm shooting with, I mean, I have a little bit of a different stature and things like that. So I know things that work for me don't work for them and vice versa. So usually my game plan, and then if I see something that I think might be a bit of a problem while other people are shooting, then I change it. But I tend to stick with what I think.
Awesome. Yeah. What about you, Jess?
Yeah, like so do I. Like I have like a general like idea, but like I like take like whatever like tips and like pointers people have, like I definitely take them into consideration, like wind calls and stuff. Like that's always like really handy. Yeah, like yeah, pretty genuinely though, I stick to like what I like plan to do.
Okay. Who calls for you? Sorry, it just a question that naturally came up. Who calls for you?
Like, what do you mean?
Who does your win calls? Or so who spots for you?
It like squad mates kind of like rotate. We don't have like a designated like spotter, but
Okay.
like usually like the general rule is like you don't like win call for someone unless they're like missing like really bad and they're like not hitting anything. Then you win call, but like usually pretty like you don't usually at the end, but like per stage there's like the windage and like remains like pretty consistent. So you just kind of like take like the first one and then kind of take it into consideration, and then like what everyone else like holding wind as well. It's also really handy if you like ask around. Usually people are like
They're
pretty nice about it.
Yeah.
Especially to like a little girl. Like what are they gonna be like? No, actually you can't. I'm not telling you. Like
Oh, come on. So you mentioned something that's yeah. So typically we won't tell shooters what their win calls are while they're shooting. However, afterwards people will share that information as well. So the spotters themselves are typically the RSOs as well as the so the person that is RSOing, if there are any issues, they'll say check your dope or whatever. But that's all the information you get when you're shooting.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we're talking right now about guidance and those people during a course of fire that either can be allowed to provide information or those that provide it after. What about coaches and mentors and instructors? We've talked about your dads. Are there any other people in your life that you that in your shooting career, if you want to call it that, are mentors or instructors or guides and help you through the process and into your matches?
Yeah. So like big one has been my dad. That's my thing. My dad's a firearms instructor. I basically taught me everything that I know that, I mean, he knew that he showed me. Outside of my dad, I have a couple like teammates on like some of my teams that like, it's like, for example, Matt Steiner has been a big one. He's one of my MDT teammates, Vortex teammates. Keith Baker, he's on my MDT team as well. And they're at my local range. And they have been helping me since I was 13. I've known them for forever, and they have always kind of taken me under their wing and showed me if I needed help and things like that. And then also Regina Milkovich, she was a big one when I first started. I shut the gap ground with her. That was my first like big national level match, and she was like the woman mentor that she took me under her wing too, and kind of showed me everything that she knew. And from there, I mean, just in general, like a lot of people in just squatting and things like that. Like when I was younger, I would tend to squat with people that had more experience, just so I could learn more than I knew, more than my dad knew from them. And kind of over the years, I've kind of just picked up on things. And I would say just about everyone is a mentor. Like no one's not going to tell me like I need help. No one's not going to ever say, no, figure it out yourself. Like everyone is always super helpful, regardless of where you go.
So Jess, I want you to answer that, but I want to touch on something that you just brought up, Allison. You talked about some great mentors and coaches and some folks that you shoot with, but you talked about some women that were really inspiring. So I'd like to make sure to touch on that. But Jess, I want you first to talk about your mentors, guides, coaches, and instructors. And if there's some women in there, let's talk about them too.
Okay. So definitely my dad, like really like mainly my dad, but also like my squad mates. Like Allison said, like no one's like not gonna help you. Like if you have a question, everyone's like being like no one's gonna think twice about like helping a little kid. Like so everyone's been like really nice about that, which is like really nice to have like that support, especially with like something that like sometimes like you're not very familiar with. And like Kelly as well with like Maple Seed since like 2018. You're welcome. She's been really like motivational and like supportive with like everything, which has been really great. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But like yeah, like Allison said, like no one's not helpful and like a mentor. So it's really great.
So we've established that Kelly, you are both a mentor and a female mentor in this long range, and inspirational. And are there any other ladies, Jess and Allison, that you have had the chance to shoot with, or shoot around, or have had given guidance that you'd like to give a shout out to while we're talking about mentors and coaches?
I know my very first match that I shot, like that national match, the NRL 22 championship in Las Vegas. I met Janae Frainer. I still have a connection with her, and she's been great and has always helped me out if I ever had a question about just a rifle, or how to go about sponsorships, things like that.
Yep.
She's also been a big one. So Regina, she's been a big one. Met a bunch of people over the years, I've come across a lot of people. Like I've even made like a lot of friends that like are just other like women juniors too, that have been really cool connections that I've made over the years.
That's great to hear. Great to hear. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you want to give a shout out to the ladies that were on the U.S. Team that you were on?
Yeah, so I went to France this summer and shot on the Precision Rifle World Championship with my other two women teammates, Peyton Grimes, which she's one of my best friends. I just saw her this weekend, and Laurel Arkenhead. She shot that match with us too, and I just saw her too this weekend, and I made lifelong friendships with those two. Awesome. I know that, and like I talk to them almost every day, again, at least like once a week or something. About it's good because we all kind of have this like connection, because we all. Yeah. Even them, like their dads brought them into it, things like that. And we all kind of talk about that stuff and have that connection with each other, which is cool.
Amazing. Amazing. Jess, any other ladies you want to give a shout out to?
I actually forget her name, but like it was back in like 2020. I think it was like June-ish. A lady came out. She was really sweet. I feel so bad. I forget her name, but it's fine. It was like 2 years ago, but she was really good. She was great.
It's okay. We're going to give a shout out to the sweet lady in 2020. That was awesome. And
just tell us about the experience.
That's right.
Yeah. It was great. I got a picture with her, which was like good.
Okay.
And like Kelly as well with like Maple Seed, and like she came out. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Kelly, is there a lot of traveling in this sport? I don't know. These girls sound like they're getting out and going out.
I know, right? So tell us all about that traveling. I know that, as Allison mentioned, she has a match recently. I think every weekend you've been at a match, and I know that Jesse, you've also actually have traveled recently to get to some matches as well. Do you guys want to tell us about those? Tell us all about your different travels. So, Jess, why don't we talk with you first about some of your most recent matches that you've had to actually go a little drive for?
Okay. So I don't have like gone like out to like France or anything, but like I don't like
in the plans. Come on.
I want to like eventually travel down to the States with the whole like COVID and stuff. It just hasn't been in like the question lately, but I definitely do want to get down to the States and shoot some longer range matches in the near future, hopefully. But I haven't really gone too far. Like I've gone like, I think the tops is like 3 hours out to like Palmerston and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this like a few weeks ago I drove out to Guelph, which is, I actually don't know. I'm not good at geography. But we went out to Guelph and I shot that and I won first in youth there. And
yeah, you did.
I think I did well overall. I don't remember how I did overall, but I think I did pretty good.
I think you placed within the top 20.
I think I came top 20 out of like, I think there was 60. So it was decent. I had like a few like I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks back in like May that I had, like, we were grinding it out. It was like, it was great. It was a really fun like situation we had. Yeah.
Okay. So
Jess, it sounds like you need sponsorship to travel to the States in case anybody's listening, right?
I think so too.
Okay.
Did you recently participate in the regionals for the NRL?
No, that was in. No, my dad went to that one though. It was.
Okay.
No, I wasn't invited to that one. My dad didn't let me go.
Oh,
That's okay.
well,
He said maybe next year. So hopefully I can get out next year.
perfect. Because you know where the Nationals are, right?
Yeah.
Dallas.
Oh no, he didn't go to that one. He went out to
Okay.
NRS. It was
Okay.
Magneto one. That's right.
Another one. Okay. Well, maybe
I
next
wasn't
year
invited to that one.
you can travel down to Texas, shoot the
Yeah.
Nationals. So you guys haven't competed. So obviously, Allison, you haven't come up here at all, have you?
I have not been to Canada. That one is on my. It is on one of my maps.
I think that you need to come up when Meaford Long Range Steel Challenges when it starts again. I think you need to come up, and that way I can meet you there as well. So, so tell us all about your travels. So you just told us about France. What other places have you traveled to?
Yes, so France. Recently went to France. That was a really, really amazing experience that I will always remember. This weekend I was just in Tennessee. I shot the PRS finale, and that went really well. I have been just about everywhere. I've traveled a lot around the country. I've been to obviously shoot in Pennsylvania for the most part, West Virginia, Texas, Florida, Utah, Wyoming area, North Carolina. There's
been a lot of places.
Wisconsin. I went this year. Yeah, I mean, just about wherever every match I can get to, I try to get to. I've kind of stayed more on the East Coast this year.
Okay.
For a lot of my matches this season, just because the finale was in Tennessee. The last 2 years they were on the West Coast, so I made a bit of a point to go out there and shoot, because when you go out west, there's a lot more wind and it's a little bit of a different dynamic than when you shoot in the East, the East Coast. So but overall, I've kind of just tried to travel as much as I can to get as much experience as I can, because when you go to different matches in different parts of the country, you kind of get a new kind of tool in your toolbox that you learn.
Yeah.
Like in Oklahoma, I learned a lot about wind. I went to Montana and I had to shoot off tripod. I'm not a big fan of using tripods when I shoot, but I had to shoot off tripod. So I learned that. I learned how to do that, and basically just kind of learning and getting the most experience that I can.
That's
so
awesome.
I have a pretty wide variety of things to use when I go to any match.
So you're still learning as well, correct?
Yes, always still learning.
Yeah.
Always try to pull something from a match. Like this weekend, I learned I need to stop I was getting in my own head this weekend a lot, and that's still something that I have to learn how to work with, is how to shoot my own game and stay out of my head and have confidence in myself and things like that. But always, you never. I don't think you ever stop learning, no matter where you place. There's always something that you can learn from, whether it's a good or a bad thing. Just
that's a fantastic attitude. Yeah.
I love what you said, Allison. You talked about your toolbox.
Yeah.
And so we all have that shooting toolbox, no matter what discipline or disciplines that we choose to shoot. And we always want to put more things in that toolbox, right? So what are you guys working on? I know we're coming to the calendar end of year and season, but what are you guys working on to put into your toolbox for the next season and the next run up to nationals or finals or competitions?
For me, I think next season I'm going to try a new caliber. I've been shooting a 6 Creed for my entire time I've shot centerfire, and I have some new changes coming up. I'm going off to college here in August, so I'm going to try some new things out. I'm going to try working on shooting with a tripod, like learning how to shoot the tripod more, just so I don't spend a lot of time on it, and I know I need to. And just overall, I think, and just another thing is just kind of like shooting my own match and like kind of staying focused on what I think, and because occasionally I kind of deviate off of things that I should have gone with original plans that I make up myself that I kind of need to make sure that I stick with, because sometimes it doesn't always work in my favor when I change my mind.
So what do you think you're going to do to actually help you with your mental piece of it? Is there anything specific?
One of my big things that I'm very hard on myself at matches. I wasn't like this a little while ago, but sometimes I have trouble leaving stages, bad stages, kind of in the past. So one of the things I'm going to work on is trying to be a little bit more okay, that's all right. Maybe I don't have a good stage, but there's another one. There's the rest of the match. I can make it up. Having a little bit more of that attitude than the world is falling apart. I got a 6 on the stage. It's very easy to do that.
Yeah.
But overall, just kind of having confidence in myself and knowing that and also that there's always another match. I shot three weekends in a row. There's always another match. So just go and get it next time, basically.
Okay. You said that you're switching from you said you're switching from 6.5. What caliber are you going to shoot?
So I shoot a 6 Creed, not 6.5. It's just 6. I'm not really sure yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. I've been talking to a lot of people, even still, I don't know what I want to shoot yet.
Okay.
Probably something along a 6BR or a 6 Dasher, maybe a 6x47. I haven't really decided yet, but Creedmoors, they don't have a lot of barrel life on them, and I love shooting Creedmoor, but I think that I've had a lot of people telling me over the years that I need to go to a less recoil caliber, and I'm gonna see how it goes and just experiment, because why not?
Good for you. Good for you. So Jess, what about you?
I definitely agree that learning to find ways to leave really bad stages behind, and just kind of moving on with it and be what's done is done, and only from up from here, and just having a really good mindset, because I know I've definitely struggled with I'm gonna do so bad, and this is really embarrassing, but I think it's definitely over time I've definitely gained more tools to help myself with you know what, you're fine,
I got to applaud both of you for having such an awareness of your mental discipline already. That is absolutely fantastic, to not let other people and what just happened get into your match and get into your game and get into your head. That's absolutely amazing at your age, to be able to recognize that you just got to leave it behind, because that's what it's all about moving forward. And I applaud you for that. That's fantastic. So,
yeah. So let's talk about your favorite matches that you've done so far. You've traveled a lot. So what's your favorite matches that you've competed in, and why?
So my favorite match I've ever shot is probably the AG Cup.
Okay.
I shot for the first time last year, and I'll be shooting it again in 3 weeks. It's a really cool match. There's only about 50 competitors that go, and it's a really high stake match.
Okay.
But I love how individual it is. There is no spotting other shooters. There's no watching them shoot. There's no bounce. You can get off a stage at any other match and kind of bounce a win call off another shooter if you really think, or tell someone, but it's all individual. It's all what you know and what your skills are. And I think that has always been a really cool concept, because you kind of see where you stand with everyone based on your own skill. And I've always really think that that's a really cool concept. And also the high stakes is, you see some people kind of get really nervous and I know I get nervous about it, but it's just it's a different dynamic than just a regular 2-day match, because like I said, it's all that individual.
It's all you.
It's all you.
It's all you.
Yeah. So higher stakes because of it, higher stress because of it. So it's more of a mental game. So good for you.
Yeah. What about you, Jess? What's been your favorite match so far?
A lot of like the matches have pretty similar, so like course of fire, so nothing really stood out. But, like one that's like been like really memorable was like the June of 2022, like that ORPS course of fire. I really enjoyed that one. That's the one I came first overall, and that was the first time I won like an entire match, which was really exciting. I've been like working up for that for like 3 years, so that was a really exciting day. Which was like really great, and like the one maple seed as well that I did really good in this past summer. That was also one of my memorable ones.
Mm-hmm. So Allison, Jess has actually achieved. So she has the second highest score ever at a maple seed marksmanship clinic.
Wow.
She has outshot everybody. So she has the possible score is so she achieved a 248 out of possible 250. Nobody in Canada has actually shot a perfect score.
That is amazing.
Isn't it?
That is
So
really great.
Congratulations.
We're all in the presence of greatness, Allison. That's what Kelly's saying.
Yes.
So even though we may have got our rifleman's patch, we ain't as good as Miss Jess. That's what's going on here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And I got to point out, you're a girl, Jess, and you did it even though you were a girl. So could we talk about being a girl a little bit, Kelly?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
So yeah, you go first. You tell me about being a girl first. We're all girls, so let's talk about it.
Go ahead, Deneen.
Well, all this amazing shooting that you guys have talked about and all these amazing matches, is there a difference that you guys have found showing up being a girl shooting in a match that's full of guys and girls and everything? What's your experience been like being a girl in this sport?
It's been like pretty good, honestly. It's like I've never really had like any like issues with it. Like it's definitely like oh, there's a girl here. Wow. Like okay. But it's like no one's really ever said anything. Like everyone's just been like, "Oh wow, you're pretty good." And then yeah.
I love that. It's a non-issue.
Yeah.
You just show up and shoot. I think it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And that's the way it should be, right?
Yeah, what about you?
Absolutely, no different.
Yeah, I mean, it's from the outside point of view, I think it can be a little intimidating.
Yeah.
At first, when you look at it from the outside, you're like, well, it's a male-dominated sport. That's what PRS is. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you go, there's not as many women as there are men, but I don't think that I haven't run into anything where I've ever felt like a difference. I mean, everyone's helpful regardless of what's going on. Everyone is super helpful, things like that. I mean, the nice thing is that a lot of people are promoting for more women and juniors in the sport, which has been amazing. And even like since when I started, I was the only girl or junior for the most part when I show up to a match, and now there's all kinds of women at matches. You know, like I said, I have a bunch of friends now that are my age and are girls and my besties and things like that, which has been amazing. So it's growing, which is really great. And everyone's super, super great with it, and everyone's pushing for it, which is amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. So have you brought some of those ladies in? Sorry, Kel, I'm curious. No. Are these folks are these ladies that you're shooting with friends that you've brought in or other ladies that wanted to learn how to shoot that saw you as maybe a mentor or somebody who inspired them?
I like to think of myself as someone who's kind of a mentor and like kind of a role model. That's what I try to do. I try to, show that, you don't need to be a man or, you can be a junior, you can be a lady. There's equal opportunity in precision rifle to kind of just go and shoot. I haven't personally really brought like any like of my like high school friends and things like that into the shooting community. But I've made a lot of friends in the shooting community. Said like I was currently talking like a month ago about being college roommates with Peyton Grimes, like just things like that. But I think overall, like just like I try to put a lot on social media And like I have a lot of connections on social media that like I have people reaching out to me and asking me questions, and I think that's a big resource for a lot of people that kind of helps them get involved just overall.
Yeah.
Can I ask if we want to follow you on social media, where do we find you?
So my Instagram is, let me look real quick so I don't say it right. So it's Allison.
It's okay. We can flip it over to Casey. Yeah, we can flip it to Casey and she can post it out. But yeah, share it with us.
Yeah, so it's Allison_YoungGun PA on Instagram, and then I have a Facebook that's just Allison Zane, where I mostly post about like my match, like anything match, or if anyone ever needs to like contact me, just send me like a Facebook message or Instagram DM or an email, whatever, and I can try to help as much as I can and put people in the right direction, just so we can get more women out there shooting.
Awesome. What about you, Jess?
Thanks, Allison.
What was the question again?
What's your Instagram handle?
Oh,
Socials, babe. Socials.
My Instagram is just jess.tischler with 2 R's. I have a Facebook, which is just Jess Tischler. Yeah, that's pretty much my main 2 that I use. I do a lot of my mainly is my Instagram. That's where I do like a lot of like my posting, and yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
We appreciate you both being on Facebook for us old people. We really do appreciate it.
We do. They're on TikTok too, by the way, I think.
Right?
I don't know. Anyway. Jess, have you been seeing more and more females and youth get into, like, are you competing with more and more youth shooters and females?
Definitely a lot more youth. Like I know like a lot of the guys who I shoot with and who like my dads are friends with and stuff, like they're starting like to bring out their kids. They have like a lot more younger kids, but like they're starting to like bring them out to like shoot, which is really great. So yeah, it's really great to see because like Allison said, like I started off being like one of like the only like youth kids who were at most of the matches I went to.
Yep.
So there wasn't like much competition. So really, yeah. So it was like harder to get competition. There'd be like the odd person who'd come up who'd be like really good, but not much. But yeah, no, it's and not so much women. Like people like sometimes like bring out like their wives and stuff, but like not as much women as there is. Like as there should be. Like yeah, a lot more women should be in the sport that aren't. But yeah.
I think
so,
both of you.
So why do you think it's so important? Like that's it. Sorry, Cal. I just think that's a good question. So I mean, you've got an opinion there, Jess. Share it with us. Why is it important for women and younger folks to get into this sport? And Allison, please feel free jump in as well. Why is it important for us to get women, ladies, girls, and youth doing this? Why do you think?
I feel like just like getting like more women into the sport, it kind of like gets rid of like the stereotype that like shooting's like just for men and like how it's like a really like super like masculine sport. Where really, it's really not. You like you're pulling a trigger and you're moving position. It's not for like just men, which is But and I know like as well like for me like the competition aspect is also like just super intimidating and like the fact that like you may not do good or you may not like place well overall like could be like stopping people like they may be like scared to be like, oh well, like if I don't get like place well and like if I don't do good like why even bother? But it's not more so about like the competition, it's more so about like getting like the experience and like yeah.
What about you, Allison?
Thank you, Jess.
I agree. I think that it's really important. And like we're labeled, like shooting in general is labeled as like a man's sport. And I think that it really shouldn't be. And I think that if we get more women involved, then it wouldn't be, because it's just, like I said, it's equal opportunity for regardless if you're a man or a woman. Like everyone, like the community is so like I know PRS in general, it's so family oriented that it's like I bring my family. I know a lot of people bring like their wives and things like that, and they're getting them involved into shooting, and that's really awesome to see. And I think like getting rid of that idea that it's just intimidating to kind of come and shoot, because it shouldn't be, because like I said, everyone's friendly, everyone's there to help, and just getting that kind of stereotype out of there, I think, is super important, because like I said, women can shoot. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you put in the work for it, you can be up there. You can be in that like top whatever, as long as you're willing to put the work in and show up, basically.
Clearly,
Awesome.
Allison, you guys are both absolute poster women for the shooting sports and for youth in the shooting sports, and total ambassadors for young people and us old people to get out and get her done, right? I think it's fantastic. I can say that, right, Kelly? We're old people compared to these lovely ladies.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I noticed what time it is, and I'd love to continue talking for like another half an hour, but I think there's prizes and there's like sponsors and there's stuff to talk about. So maybe we should get at that. What do you think?
Yeah. But before we do you guys want to give a shout out to your sponsors? Because I know both of you are sponsored shooters. So, Allison, do you want to tell us all about your sponsors and give them a shout out? Without their support, you wouldn't be able to shoot, right?
Yeah, without their support, I would not be where I am right now. I'd not be able to travel the extent that I do, to shoot the extent that I do, and to, I think everything kind of is tied back to them. So I shoot for MDT. I shoot for Vortex Optics. I shoot for Defiance Machine. I shoot for Short Action Customs. They build my rifles. Hawk Hill barrels, Hawk Hill Customs. Huber, they make my triggers. Armageddon Gear, I shoot a lot of their like the Game Changers, things like that. I don't know if I'm missing anyone. I feel like I'm missing someone. Long Range Arms, I use their electronic bubble level. And then Lapua, I shoot their brass, and then they're also the 109 burgers. And I think that's it.
Awesome. What about you, Jess? You want to give a shout out to all your sponsors as well?
Yeah. So I think like before I started for like myself, like a lot of like the series sponsors have like made it possible to actually shoot like the actual matches. A lot of the time like they go like kind of like unnoticed, but they're such a big help in like putting together prize tables and stuff. It's really generous of them, and they kind of like they're the reason why like the sport's gone so far, and like they're really great. And then so for myself, Gray Birch and Go Big Tactical are like my two main ones, and they've been so great. Gray Birch like sets me up with like great things, like super lightweight and like really accurate like guns. Like my semi-auto has been great. That's what actually got my Project Maple Seed like the patch. I got that with my Gray Birch, which is pretty exciting. And Tom at Go Big Tactical also gives me some, or like provided me with some like really good scopes as well that have definitely boosted my confidence. And like from like where I started with like a lot of my optics, were like it's given me like quite the appreciation for like what I have now from like what I started with. It's incredible. So I'm really grateful for that.
Awesome. Well, it's great to see.
Big shout out to sponsors.
Yeah. Fantastic. So it looks like we have Casey and we have Rahina back. Woohoo!
Hello, guys.
And there's been questions. They're asking, have the questions come up yet? And are we doing the giveaways? Right. So
yes.
Okay, so the first question I have for you ladies is from Jamie Lee Biggs, and she started shooting young, and she's looking into putting on a youth range day. So she knows nothing about kids and shooting. What's the youngest you would consider having at a range day? Also, what size rifles would you recommend? How about we'll start with Allison?
So I have been involved in a couple, so at my local club that I started at, I kind of coach basically where I started. And I know for our club, the minimum is like 10. I think that you can kind of go like a little younger, like maybe like 7 or 8, depending on how much they understand gun safety. I definitely would start with 22s. I wouldn't go anything of higher caliber than 22 because the thing is learning like the fundamentals first of all, and it's good to start on that lower recoil caliber.
Perfect.
Jess, do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, like I definitely I know for me I started like really young, and it's really all about like how much like safety and like how like aware like muzzle awareness is also very very important. So like really if you have like a good understanding and it's really like I feel like it's like up to the parents a lot, and like they have good judgment, like they wouldn't put anyone in danger like with their kids. So like it's really about like how much like safety they have like with the firearms, and definitely 22s as well. That's what I shoot. They're great.
Yeah, Deneen and I put on a Frosty Fingers family fun day, and my daughter was 2
We
at the
did.
time, and she shot a 22 on my lap.
Awesome.
I was in full control of the rifle, but she pulled the trigger. So
I think you need to say Frosty Fingers Fun Day 10 times fast.
that was just the
Yeah, Frosty
I
Fingers
was
Family
having-
Fun Day. You said
yes, I was having fun with the names.
Yeah, I can tell.
All right, so our next question is, I need to uncheck these things as I go through. Do you load your own centerfire ammo for precision loads, or do you just use commercial rounds?
I do like my own like hand loads basically. So everything. So usually like whenever I get a new rifle, like a new like barrel, things like that, I have to figure out a new load for them to make sure that it's basically perfect for my gun because you're shooting one MOA size targets, so you need to make sure that it's having a very good, 4-inch, half-inch load, which is kind of what I have to do just by hand loading.
Cool. All right, and our next question is from Doug, and he says, I know I came late, so forgive me if I missed it, but how old were you girls when you started shooting? He has his 3 youngest granddaughters coming up and want their feelings on when is a good time to get them started.
Jesse, you want to go?
Sure. So I started when I was 2 or 3. Definitely like a lot of assistance then, but like it's just like I said, like a lot about like educating them on like the safety and just like making like sure like you're being safe as possible. Then really there's like, and also like there's also like a maturity aspect of it as well. Like yeah, like you yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I was 8. I was a little older. That's just kind of when my parents started me with like I was shooting like a bright pink like pellet gun. Like but a lot of it is basically based off of if you think they understand. It's just understanding the safety of it is the big thing. Understanding gun safety, and I think at whatever age, whether that's younger or older, as long as they understand that, then from there, I think that's a good place to start from.
Good answers. All right, and this one is from Bill Gavinchuk, and yes, that is my husband. How many of the people ask you about shooting right off the bat rather than asking about the whole being shooting girl backstory first?
I would say a good amount. I mean, I think just in general, like they just kind of ask me like how I got into shooting. That's like one of the big questions is like especially on the range, like how did your dad manage to get you into this? Like I'm trying to get my daughter into this. I'm trying to get my wife into this. Like how did you get started? And then it kind of leads into that. Like, do you think that that being a woman, it's any different? But I think it's mostly about the shooting part of it is one questions I get a lot.
Yeah. How about you, Jess?
Yeah, it's definitely similar for me. I don't really like people don't really ask about like my backstory too much. Just more so, just like they're how'd you get so good? And like it's it's not as yeah, no, I don't really get questioned that much about my backstory.
Okay. And then I think the last question I have is from Amber Lynn. And she's asking if you repair and maintain your own firearms or do you have someone else do it?
Jesse, you want to go?
My dad does a lot of that for me. He tries to like teach me a bit about it, but he definitely is the head honcho for that. He does that.
Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of my like maintaining stuff. My dad helps out a lot. Just when I get really busy with school, like right now I am.
Mm-hmm.
But basically between me and my dad, everything's kind of maintained unless something really big's going on and I need to get help from someone else, but mostly my dad.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you. All right. So I think now is the time for the draws.
Woo!
Yay! We get to give out prizes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start with the swag bag from MDD. So Casey, I saw there was a lot of comments today, so we'll see who gets things today.
There is. I got to count. Hold on. I do a random generator or random number generator, and then I count the comments. Okay, so our first winner is Carla McKee.
Yay! Congratulations.
Perfect.
So you're watching us on Facebook, so I think Deneen, you'll get in contact with her, right? Just to get the information.
Yeah, Carla, give me send me a message and we'll get the prize coordinated. And I don't think Carla's ever won before, so welcome to the show, Carla, and congratulations.
Perfect.
Awesome. And then for our big prize for today, it's the chassis from Grey Birch. So we're very thankful for the prize. So thank you very much for that. So who is the lucky winner for the chassis?
All right. So
Me.
I know, right?
Me?
I want
Right?
Would
Do
it
I
look
count?
bad if Bill's name popped up there? No,
Right.
it's Derek.
Oh, Derek.
Yay, congratulations.
And actually, I love this comment from him. He says, watching this while sitting with the
me
kids
too.
has just sparked a discussion and a request to go to the range. So inspiration in action. Thank you, Jess and Allison.
Yay.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So, Derek, guess what? You and I are going to coordinate getting that chassis to you. So I will send him a message privately because we're actually friends, and I'll get him to pick whatever chassis he's interested in, and then we'll coordinate getting it to you. Awesome.
Awesome. Perfect. So congratulations
Congratulations,
to our winners
everyone.
for today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from that, let's move on to upcoming events. So I know for this USF, we just wrapped up on our fall strap and skeet tournament. So nothing for the rest of this year. So we'll just figure out what's coming up next year. So from that, do we have anything left for Maple Seed for the rest for the year, Kelly?
Nope, we just actually finished our last Maple Seed events for the year this past weekend. However, I do want to actually update you on QSIF events for November is
See, you know more than I
Maple
do.
Seed month. Go over and shoot the rifle challenge. So you can go over and shoot the rifle challenge. Go to the website, download the target, I believe, and then you can actually go shoot it. And then if you're a member of QSIF, you might even get to win maybe a really great prize. So go over and check that out. So, but for 2023, our calendar for Maple Seed is actually, we're going to start planning it soon. Well, we haven't really even started. Let's back that up a bit. So for 2023, we are already starting to plan the calendar, and we've already booked some of our events as well. So I need a week off, just 1 week. That's all I'm asking.
You and me both. Yes.
Yeah, so what about Lady Guns?
I resemble that remark as well. Kelly. I resemble that remark. Lady Guns has lots of plans. We're hoping to get some stuff out, at least one night out before the end of the year, and then we too are working on some additional and upcoming events, indoor and hopefully outdoor. Maybe some frosty fingers. Who knows, Casey? Right? So Yeah, family fun days. But I think I know that the lovely ladies of She Shoots are working on our programming for 2023. So that's
Yep.
also stuff that's coming up, is what our podcast plans are going to be going forward.
Yep.
Yeah,
So stay
absolutely.
tuned. Watch this space. Right?
Yeah, I think we're just in the final drafts or figure out our calendar for 2023 for episodes. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll post it on this USF website, and I'm sure on the Lady Guns website, and then you can see what's coming up, and hopefully it's something you like. And if you have any suggestions, as always, you can just leave it in the comments for us, and we're more than happy to hear your suggestions on what you want to hear or who you want to see next on the show. So please go at it. So I think we're already past due, so I'll just go ahead and thank our sponsors again and just go on our outro.
Okay.
So that we can all go to bed. Yes.
Before you do, I just wanted to say thank you again to Allison and Jess for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
It was fantastic.
Absolutely.
Some of the comments were that it's probably one of our best episodes yet. So thank you for sharing your wisdom. And Jess, I'm super excited about how much progress you've made in just a few short years. And I'm hoping at some point that you and Allison will be shooting together in France. That's all. Thanks again for coming on tonight.
Yeah, it'll be a match to watch.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks, ladies.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll thank our sponsors again. So thank you to Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, Savage Arms, Beretta, and Vortex. If you like today's episode, please leave us a like and follow us so that you don't miss out on any of our episodes. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. If you liked our message and would like to learn more about our programs, check out our websites at cusf.ca, ladyguns.ca, and mapleteethrifleman.com. To support us and get some additional perks, check out our membership programs. Thank you all for tuning into the She Shoots podcast, episode 11, A Small But Mighty. Don't miss out on our next and last episode for 2022. Guns A-Blazing. Our guest will be Diana Mueller, Wolverine. Diana is a sponsored 3-gun multi-gun shooter. So make sure to save the date for December 13, 2022. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See ya.
Bye.